What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Mean Streets here at FTN. Chris Meaney and PropGod with you. We are about to preview the Los Angeles Dodgers from a fantasy baseball and MLB betting perspective. And yes, they definitely have a lot to love when it comes to fantasy baseball. A ton of assets. Maybe not so much when it comes to the betting market. There's some crazy numbers here when it comes to the Dodgers, something that PropGod myself have not seen in quite some time. Underscore PropGod myself at Chris Meaney. If you're looking for FTN or if you're looking for a fantasy baseball package, we have you covered at ftnfantasy.com. Seeger5, the promo code for you, led by our guy Vlad Sedler. Projections, rankings. We have all kinds of strategy pieces. We have rankings for 12-team leagues, 15 high-stakes leagues, rotisserie, head-to-head formats, auction values, all kinds of goodness in the draft kit as well. Again, promo code Seeger5. So let's get after the Dodgers, of course, one of the biggest movements and signings in the offseason or in any year in sports, of course, Shohei Ohtani, right? The Shohei Ohtani watch north of the border. People in Toronto were following the flight and realized it was just some dude from Dragon's Den who was on the flight.
Oh,
it was not Shohei
I forgot
Ohtani.
about that part.
Shohei joins the Dodgers. Man, look at this. 103.5 win total. They rattled off 100 wins last year. They're minus 450 to win the NL West, the biggest favorite across the board. And again, I don't think I've ever seen this. Like maybe Yankees a few years ago, but the division's always been competitive and there's powerhouses inside the division. No surprise to see the Dodgers favored, even if they didn't have Ohtani or Yamamoto as another big signing that they had, they would probably still be the favorite here. 4-1 to win the World Series. And I'm giving you the best number from the prop shop, which is a tool that's free over at ftnbets.com and a link inside the description. There's numbers that are shorter than this. They're plus 215 to win the division. We're not suggesting that anybody should go out and take the over 103.5 wins or even bet you're not betting the division, not betting the World Series. There's no value there. But I even the struggles that they've had, and I know that they are the villains and they've taken on that villain kind of type role in baseball and signing Yamamoto and signing Ohtani and already having Betts and Freeman. Like, I would be shocked if they didn't win over 103 games. I really would. And I know a lot can happen, but I would be.
Same here. I just I would not advise anyone to say that number is too high and try to take the under and be smarter than everyone in the room. No, don't waste your money on that. I would just stay away. I'm not taking the over either because it's really no value in what is it, minus 110 maybe for that over? Yeah. Like to wait all season for a team to win 104 games. Like, no, there's no value in the Dodgers futures unless you're taking the plus 400 on the World Series.
Yeah, and I mean that number could get shorter, but even that I just don't love it. Nope. 4-1 for a team to win the World Series is not that appealing for me. I mean, looking up and down the lineup, I mean, for those that are watching our YouTube page, we have to get rid of the banner because there's just so many names here. All of these names inside the top 200 picks. I mean, Mookie Betts, who has second in outfield eligibility. He's going roughly as pick 4.9 on average over an NFBC high stakes leagues. I took the data from the last 2 weeks. We're recording here early March. Freddie Freeman is a first round pick on average 8. Shohei Ohtani on average 12. And then you have Yamamoto, Glasnow, Will Smith, Bobby Miller, Teoscar Hernandez, who they also brought in. He's got some pop in his bat. Evan Phillips, closer. Max Muncy still has some pop in his bat. Outman and Walker Buehler, who's going to miss the start of the season, recovering from Tommy John surgery, but most projections have him for around 125 innings. So we will see him at some point this season, and he is throwing. There's a lot of names, and that's just inside the top 200. Other teams that we previewed here in our YouTube page, we dig deep into like pick 350, 400. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Starting with Ohtani here, 44 homers, 20 stolen bases last year, 100 ribbies in 2021. He's going to top that, I believe. 102 runs, 103 runs in 2 of the last 3 seasons, probably tops that. Had a 304 average. Don't think he's a 300 hitter. I mean, he's a really good hitter. Most projections have him around 250, 260. I don't know. The only thing that I will say is from the top 12 guys that go, I mean, he may have the lowest average, but he also may surprise you and come out with a 300 average. There's all kinds of protection in this lineup, which he didn't have last year with the Halos. So he's a unicorn. He's not going to pitch this season, but he's still a very, very good pick. Nothing bad to say about Betts or Freeman. As for Yamamoto, PropGod, he is the favorite to win Rookie of the Year in the National League, but not great in terms of odds. He's 2-1, plus 200. That's the best number that I'm seeing. 172.5 is his strikeout number over at BetMGM in terms of over or under. He's 15-1 to win NL Cy Young. Most projections have him for between 160 to 200 strikeouts. We have him projected for 190 strikeouts. Vlad is buying everything. He is drinking the Kool-Aid here when it comes to Yamamoto. So
Vlad's a Dodger fan too. He's a Dodger fan.
He is. You're not wrong. Maybe he's drinking it too much. But 190K, we have him for 176 innings, 14 wins, and a 3.22 ERA. Looking at some of his numbers before he came over here, of course, because it's all we have. Sub 2 walk rate, most likely, is what you can expect. Doesn't walk a lot of guys. May flirt with a 10K per nine. I think, seeing at these projections, like 190 for 176, like that's 10K per nine. That's not 9. That's just above average, which is something that you like. He's roughly going as a top 10 pitcher in fantasy, and I'm buying as well. I think he's going to have a really good season. I think he's a favorite in the NL for a reason. I don't think there's a lot of, I don't think the value is there in the betting market, but I think he's a strong fantasy asset, and I have no issues taking him right around here. And I'd be interested to see, man, how pick 43. Be interested to see what his strikeout props look like. They may be just too high because he's a Dodger and all the smoke. Like maybe he's a fade to start the season before we feel this out.
That's what I was wondering too. Like, what will him and Glasnow's strikeouts be at when the season comes?
Yeah.
They both were kind of like with everyone else, but when it comes to spring training lines, Yamamoto went over as well as Glasnow. Yamamoto sat down Simeon in 6 pitches. And when I saw that, I was like, yeah, he's real. I know it was just one batter, but it's Marcus Simeon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
he
looked good against the Rangers. We'll talk about Glasnow too, but Glasnow just picked, I want to say, if not yesterday, then 2 days before, whatever the day was. But I forget that Glasnow is 6'6". Like he's towering over guys. Throwing heat, get the curve.
He's a stud too, man. He's a stud too.
Me being the Padre fan, Chris, it's I just hate really talking about the Dodgers. I'm going to do it on this one show only all season long. I'm gonna give them their credit, but
respect.
I think they will be as advertised. I mean, what other lineups would you ever see go? This is projected: Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, and then Will Smith at cleanup, Max Muncy. Then after that, it's kind of you could say it's kind of top heavy, but then you got Outman who's young and proven at this point, and then they added Teoscar Hernandez, who's projected for 28 home runs. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in this lineup projected for over 25 home runs. I'm sorry, over 20 home runs this season, and 5 of them projected for over 25. So
it's not even fair. It's not fair. That's why they're taking on this villain role. Ohtani signs a big contract and defers a ton of money, and then he gets Yamamoto over. Like they're just, it's the chess versus checkers whole thing that everyone always talks about. Man, Glasnow, I do believe is a touch of a risky pick, high risk, high reward in terms of fantasy, but this guy can bring it too. I mean, you mentioned it, right? He's got the big body type. He can just mow down guys, 12K per nine and 33% strikeout rate over 120 innings last year. That was a career high in terms of innings, 120. Can he push 150? And that's what everybody wants to know. Like if you're picking him at pick 46, NFBC, that's like 4th round here. If he can give you 150 innings, he can flirt with 200 strikeouts, right? Only 100 innings twice in his career. We have him for 154 innings in our projections and 195 strikeouts. So just like Yamamoto, 190 strikeouts, but roughly 25 fewer innings. And again, just showing the upside, 3.23 ERA, good defense behind him. So, and then when Walker Buehler comes back, right, that's another arm inside this rotation. Kershaw obviously is a lot older. He's recovering from shoulder surgery, but he's going to be he'll make his season debut roughly in the summer, I do believe. Not a great fantasy asset, but just another arm who's a high upside arm, can give you some innings here and there. Plus, they got Bobby Miller last year, who you look at some of his numbers, keeps the ball on the ground, 119 strikeouts in 124 innings, just 32 walks. If he can give you 150, probably has a sub-4 ERA, high K numbers in the minors, but probably projects as a 9K per 9 guy. Evan Phillips, 24 saves last year, great walk rates, can flirt with 30 saves. They got James Paxton, Gavin Stone inside the rotation with some upside in those arms as well. So, yeah, I mean, the rich got richer in the offseason. Yep. They didn't make a lot of noise. I didn't think this time last year. They were just waiting for this moment to get Shohei, to get the unicorn, and they ended up getting him. And so, yeah, the sky's the limit, man. You said you're a Padres fan. All Padres fans, Diamondbacks fans, fans across Major League Baseball, they got to respect it. And I'm sure you're going to tune in live to watch that lineup and see some of these arms, right? It's
I'm going to make money off of them, too. I'm going to bet on them.
You're going to make some money
minus
off
1.5, Team total. Team total is going to open at 5.5 opening day. Then it's going to be 6, and it's going to be crazy.
Yeah,
so
and
then you got Gonsolin. I don't see him on any projections. I don't know I forgot what his injury was. Does he have to have Tommy John? Do you know?
I'm not 100% sure on Tony Gonsolin, but looking at the projections for him this season, not a lot of innings. Yeah, 105. So he's recovering from Tommy John, the elbow injury, and we may see him towards the end of the season. Yeah. But yeah, that's another arm that, unfortunately, I guess we can say unfortunately, they're not going to have. But when he's on the mound, man, he's again another guy that's just consistent, right? Ratios across the board, not a big strikeout arm, but just good out. Just another guy that eats up innings, and I suppose they'll have him for the playoff run.
And they talked about going to a 6-man rotation. Excuse me. And that'll help young guys like Yamamoto, who will probably pitch more innings than he ever has, and Glasnow, who's coming off pitching the most innings he has. Exactly. So you got guys who can eat innings, but you can keep the best guys fresh, and that's the key to success. So really nothing bad you can say about the Dodgers right now, man. Maybe if you want to take shots at the bottom of the lineup, maybe with Gavin Lux, Jason Hayward, if you want to mention Hernandez or Altman, but there's really nothing you can say.
No, nothing negative anyways. A lot of these names I'm a little bit hesitant to take Glasnow at that pick. I'd rather Yamamoto, even though it's the unknown with him, but certainly some high upside for both of those guys. Will Smith is great. And in this format, you need 2 catchers. So he goes roughly 77 here. And then you mentioned Teoscar Hernandez, outside pick 113. And think about the guys that are going to be on base for him as a guy that can hit you 30 home runs and maybe drive in 85 plus, really, because he's going to
hit 7th.
Projected to hit 7th on most teams. He would be we've seen him in the 3 spot, be a cleanup at times. Just another nice bat there for the LA Dodgers. I'm sure you're going to enjoy the season, but it is World Series or bust. And if you don't win it, it probably could be pretty frustrating for sure. But I would imagine, PropGod, we're going to see Shohei Ohtani playing playoff baseball for the first time in his career. Good luck to all the Dodgers fans out there, and enjoy what will probably be a fantastic season. Seeker5, former Dodger, there for you. Promo code over at ftnfantasy.com.